What is up, everybody? Stacey Blackwood here, joined with Jake Thomas on another episode of Tide Talk Live. Jake, what's up, buddy?
Man, doing great. Man, fall has made an appearance here in Alabama where we're at, and it is nice. It has been nice the last couple of days. But other than that, man, everything's going good on my end. How about you guys?
Man, I'm doing great. Excited to talk some Alabama football.
Right.
I know that the game didn't go as planned, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But as always, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and jump in the comments and just give us any thoughts you might have before we move on to Louisiana Monroe about this Alabama and Texas matchup that happened this past Saturday. Of course, Alabama won 20-19. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't well. It was exciting if you like, high
Yeah.
intensity stuff, but it was a different type game for Alabama fans. Jake, I know you had some. You weren't in a good mood on Saturday
Yeah.
from our group text that we're in, but just kind of give us your thoughts and what you were feeling Saturday afternoon.
Well, I'm not going to go into how I felt Saturday afternoon because I let my emotions run high, but I calmed down Sunday morning. I got up, I rewatched the game, and I said, okay, there's positives in every game we can pull out of, and I want to talk about the positives. No, number one, we went into a hostile environment and got a W. I mean,
Yeah.
they sold out fan wise. That's the most fans they've ever had in that stadium. We went to a hostile environment and won. That's positive number one. Positive number two, we played our absolute worst game, and I know that we're not going to probably be back at that level at any point this season. So that was our absolute worst game, and we still won. Positive three, Will Anderson had a terrible game. He let his emotions run high, but I know he's going to make up for it, and he's going to come back with the vengeance. He's never going to have that type of game ever again. Another thing, we've been, this off season, we've been needing somebody to step up on the defensive line, and one guy that we've been high on is Justin DeBorgby. He has been all over the field these last two games. So maybe he's that star guy, that next guy we need inside to get a pass rush. So there's a lot of positives. There's a lot of negatives as well to take away, but there's still a lot of positives that you can take out of this game. And that's what we really, I think, we need to look into because, like I said, Alabama's not going to play, I feel like that ever again.
Yeah, well, there's three different types of games that you're going to play throughout the season. One is your worst performance, one is
Right.
your best performance, and the other is what you really are, and that's
Right.
what you're going to be like most games. So there's not a person on the planet that thinks Alabama's going to commit 15 penalties in another game this year.
No,
I mean,
in no way.
that was just it was unbelievable. If I've never seen anything like it. I'm not saying not.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously several of them were penalties. There were obviously some that were questionable and really ticky
Mhm.
tacky. Like for instance, one of Will Anderson's, they said he was lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
I don't know if the neutral zone was in a different part of Texas or what.
Right.
I don't understand what was going on there, but it was just a really strange game. But it was a strange Saturday, Jake. App
It
State beats
was.
Texas A&M. Notre Dame gets beat by Marshall. So it was just one of those weird weekends in college football.
Yeah.
And the fact, like you said it to start things, Jake, we went on the road and got a big time road win in a hostile environment, one of the toughest places that we're going to play. Will Anderson said it's the toughest place he's played at since he's been at Alabama. Remember, he's played at Florida, he's played at
Mhm.
Texas A&M, he's played at Jordan Hare, he's played at in Baton Rouge and Death Valley. So it's just it was a different game for Alabama, and it was
Yeah.
just everybody was kind of on edge, and it was just a weird performance for Alabama.
Mhm.
It's so hard to really take much away, other than the fact that despite doing everything you could not to win the game, you won the
Mhm.
game.
Right. And the reason why we won that game is not one but two people. Bryce Young has ice in his veins. I mean, he does not get rattled. I mean, there's 105,000 people there screaming, F you, F Alabama during the whole game. He leads that comeback drive. He sees that corner on that blitz and steps up just enough and bends over enough, and takes off for a 19-yard gain to set us up in better field position. And then talking about our field goal position, talking about field goals. Will Reichert has got to be the best kicker that Alabama's had in a while, but also Nick Saban has had in his tenure probably at Alabama.
Oh, there's no doubt he's the best place kicker we've had under Saban, and he's one of the best that Alabama's ever had. Period. I think
so too.
That's pretty much set in stone. He's unbelievable. He makes every kick that he needs to make.
it's amazing,
and he's just really good. He's better on kickoff this year than he's ever been. They don't ever have an opportunity to return it. I mean, they returned that one with 10 seconds left. They should have just kneeled in the end zone. I mean, he caught it 8 yards deep. He wasted 5 seconds there bringing it out. That was not very smart on Texas' part. But yeah, like you mentioned, Bryce Young, cool as a cucumber.
Man,
it's unbelievable how he just is always so calm and under control. The moment's never too big for him. He's always plays within himself, and it's just when you watch him play. And when you watch him make those last 3 drives, Jake, I know they stopped us on the – first of all, they didn't stop Jace McClellan the first time on 3rd and inches. He got the first they called it a first down on the field. Then they review it and somehow reverse it.
I don't understand that.
And then Roydell Williams literally lands on the line to gain, and he doesn't pick up the first down again. That sequence was unbelievable to me. But he led us down there in great position. We could have ended the game really there, Jake, by finishing that drive and by the next drive that Bryce Young had when he, connected with Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's another guy that really played well when we were able to get him the ball. He really made a lot of clutch plays for Alabama. And I think you're going to see him take on a bigger role offensively for Alabama. I think he only had 10 touches in the first game. I think he had 18 against Texas. I think you're going to see that number continue to climb to be between the 20 and 25 range for the remainder of the season. He's just too good with the ball in his hands and too good of a playmaker to not give him the ball as much as possible. And I want to say something else about what I learned in this game, Jake. And this is rewatching it after Saturday, because like you said, when you're watching the game live and you don't know the outcome, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of things. And you miss out on the little details of the game. But Jake, I know Bryce Young was stepped up in the clutch, but so did the receivers, Jake.
Yes.
Trayshawn Holden made a big catch. Ja'Cory Brooks made a couple big catches. Jermaine Burton did. Kobe Prentice did. All those guys matured in that fourth quarter.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, when it was time and it was crunch time, those guys made plays. And now it's just about putting that together for a full 4 quarters. And I'm not worried. There's a lot of people that are panicking on Alabama from the Alabama fan base. I'm not panicking because, like you said, they're not going to play like that again, Jake. They're too talented to play like that again. It was an enigma.
Right.
I don't ever remember seeing a game like that. It was just so strange. It probably and there was probably a lot of reasons for it. Like you mentioned, the crowd was unbelievable. It was 120 degrees on the field. It's the second game of the year. I mean, there's a lot. So I think there was a lot of variables for what went into that game and how Alabama played. But the lack of discipline was probably the most surprising thing.
Yeah, I would say the lack of discipline was what was crazy because, that was one of the most undisciplined Saban teams I've ever seen. And like you said, there was some wishy-washy calls. Like you said, one of Will Anderson's, lining up in the neutral zone. Like I said, I didn't even see nobody and had within the neutral zone. I mean, it was wild. But I just think early on we had a couple of games like that last year. It was later on in the season, but I think getting this game out of the way early on, build up that maturity with these young receivers and building that relationship with Bryce and the receivers. It's just going to help, like you said, later on into the season. If they just put it all together. And I want to say one other thing. I know a lot of people have been harping about the defense still, but the defense right now has a bend but don't break attitude.
Well,
I
and
mean,
the truth is, Jake, they were the offense had
right.
several 3-and-outs in a row. What do you
Mhm.
think the defense is going to do when it's 120 degrees outside and they're on the field the entire time?
Exactly. They're tired and they just,
I have
they
one complaint on the
go
defense.
ahead.
No, two complaints on the defense.
Mhm.
It's better this year than it's been in the past.
Yeah.
Our corners have got to start turning their heads around.
Man, I know.
But the other thing is completely on this. This is completely on coaching. Why in God's name is Dallas Turner in
Yes.
man-to-man coverage 25 yards down the field with the best running back in college football?
He is a
Who
pass
made that
rusher.
call?
I
Who
don't
made
know.
that call?
I don't know.
Not even the
I
call.
just
Who designed that?
yeah, that he should never be in that situation.
No, I mean he
You
can
know.
cover the flats in the zone concept, but he don't need to be
Right.
playing man-to-man against Bijan Robinson 20 yards
No.
down the field. What do
Right.
you think's going to happen?
A big play, and that's what
I mean,
happened.
that's just dumb.
It is. It is.
Anyways,
But
that was my really only two complaints of the defense, other than the penalties, of course.
right, right. But yeah, the defense, they've improved. They I don't know, they played like this last year though. Like you said, there was games where the offense would just struggle and the defense pinned their ears back and was like, okay, we know we had to win this game now. And that's what they did. They did it against LSU last year. I think they did it against Arkansas. They did it in this game. I think they got in the red zone like 3 or 4 times and only got field goals out of it. They did get one
Right,
touchdown, Texas
right.
did. And there was a hold on that on I think it was
Brian
Brian
Branch.
Branch. Yeah.
Yes.
So if he wouldn't have got held, he probably would have got Bijan, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is this defense is getting better. And I want to single out one player that had a really great game, and that's Arnold. Terrion Arnold is playing out of his mind right now. And
Jalen Moody too.
Jalen Moody as well.
He's been fantastic.
Absolutely. So those two guys, and neither one of them was a starter last year.
Yeah.
Now they're getting their chance.
Helen's played pretty well too.
Is his ankle okay?
Yeah, I think he's good.
Yeah. Okay. So I knew he got hurt there a little bit, but I think he did come back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it was fine. But there's a lot of positives. Like I said, there's still a lot of negatives to take away. If one negative I really want to say about the offense, Bill O'Brien's got to learn that our receivers don't need to get 20 yards down the field and then start making their cuts. And we need to have something, 5-10 yards just for a drop off for Bryce Young, because the offensive line, you're always coached as offensive lineman. I played offensive line. 3 seconds is all the quarterback needs. Well, when you've got all goes 20 yards down the field before you do it out or whatever, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I mean, they're still not even down the field yet. So, we've got to have some kind of pass design, something that's underneath. Isaiah Bond did a really good job of getting loose the other day, but he just went right through his hands. There's another guy, I think, talking about needing to open up and split the defense. When Harold gets back, that's going to help a little bit. Take the top off the defense. Isaiah Bond looks like he's pretty fast. And we know Earl, when he gets back, he's fast. And Anderson, all of them guys, once they return from injury, I think they're going to be okay.
The offense is definitely not a finished product yet. You're not going to see the full arsenal of the Alabama offense till the halfway point of the season, or maybe a little further out. So I think fans need to remember that. And before there's really not a lot else to add on this recap. We've kind of touched on everything. But before we head out, I kind of want to, a couple of weeks ago on Best of the West, I kind of gave another warning about people, just doubting Alabama and doubting Nick Saban. And the crazy thing is, it's the same people all the time and every year.
Yeah.
Like, do they just love being wrong every year?
Right.
I mean,
I guess so.
I mean, and I know I pick on them a lot, but Stephen Willis says it every time Alabama has a game where they don't look like the greatest team of all time, they look mortal. What does that even mean? Of course they're mortal. I mean, they got 18 to 22-year-old kids on their team.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't compare every single Alabama team. And what the problem is they think, well, go back to that 2020 team. Yeah, that 2020 team gave up 600 yards to Ole Miss and nearly got beat.
Right.
So they
Exactly.
were not mortal. They were also mortal.
Right.
So but people forget those types of things, Jake. That was the second or third game of the year too. I mean, so
Exactly.
this is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to keep betting on Nick Saban in Alabama. You can bet on whoever you want, but I'm going with the guy who's been there about every single year for the last 15 years. You can bet on whatever other team you think is the best team this year. I'm going to go with the team who I know for a fact has the best roster, has the best coach. Does that make me crazy? I don't think so. I think you're the crazy one for not believing in them.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I mean, it's the same thing every single year. They play one bad game, and all of a sudden the walls are caving in. The
sky's falling, and
the sky's falling. The ship's sinking. Good grief! Give me a break.
Yeah.
First of all, there's been 2 weeks of the college football season, 3 for some teams that really don't matter. We don't know nothing about nobody.
No, we don't.
I mean, half the teams in the country have played high schools the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we know nothing about nobody. But there's one thing I know. Nick Saban's the best coach in the college football, and Alabama has the best roster in college football. With the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah. There ain't no question about that.
So, I mean, it's mind-blowing to me how each and every season, here we go again with the whole Bama crap about how the sky's falling in, and they're not what they used to be. Good. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's laughable. I mean, I just don't see how anybody can bet against Nick Saban.
I don't even think they really believe it. It's wishful thinking, Jake.
Right. Yeah.
They're hoping and praying this is the year that Nick Saban magically forgets how to coach. Bryce Young magically forgets how to throw a football.
Yep. Bama fatigue.
It is. It's crazy.
It is.
I don't understand where the logic is.
Right.
I'm not saying they can't be beat. Obviously, they can be beat. You know what they can be beat? Because the people on the field are 18 to 22 years old.
Right. Exactly. Everybody makes mistakes, especially at that age.
Despite the fact that NIL and all that, they're still amateur athletes.
Right.
They're in college. They have girlfriends. They party.
Yeah.
Their focus is not always there.
They're still teenagers. I mean,
but Jake, if people really think after what happened at Texas is a testament of what this season's going to look like for Alabama, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but you're a fool if you believe that.
I agree 100%.
Anyways.
Hey, another rant. We love it.
All right. Well, we're going to end it on that. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like, jump in the comments and just let us know your thoughts, your final thoughts, as we kind of be moving on to Louisiana Monroe here in a couple days about the Texas matchup. What you want to see from this team moving forward, what you like, what you don't like. We would love to interact with you there in the comment section. But for Stacey Blackwood and Jake Thomas, this has been another episode of Tide Talk Live. And until next time, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.